Hi Freunde, Curtis hier. Freitag heute ist unser Lieferungstag. Ich bin gerade dabei, jede Menge Rucola einzutüten für die Supermärkte. Hey! 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 Scheiße! Jetzt hat er mich! Alright, we like to have a little fun on the farm every now and then. That's Toby, our German friend visiting us, and he's brought a lot of good German organization to the farm. You can see our composting area has now been completely refabbed and cleaned up, and we've done a lot of other cool organization on the farm recently. A lot of the stuff on the post-harvest, but we got all this area all cleaned up now. I'm just doing a little walkabout on the home base right now. I kind of just want to show you guys some of the things that are happening here, some of which have been experiments this year. But this has been my first year growing in pots for commercially, and I have to say it's working really well. The cool thing about growing in pots when you're an urban farmer is that you can move these around and you can put them in places where they'll benefit the best from the current temperatures or season. So I started these in plugs. I put them in pots in the greenhouse when we first started. Then I've moved them out here, and now they can actually go between the greenhouses here because the sun's high enough in the sky that they actually get light. And so this is our first crop of basil. We've been harvesting it each week. We're not getting a ton off it, but it's meeting our demand. Plus our basil wall has been doing really well too. We've actually cropped it out now. We've been harvesting off this basil for probably over 2 months, and now we've cut it down. We're gonna pull the soil out and replant it. If anybody's curious about this product, I've had a lot of people ask me. It's from a company called Vicinity. They're actually distributing in the US now. I'll have a link below. Follow that if you're gonna check it out. These guys are gonna be sending me a whole wall, like I'm talking a big wall of this. I'm going to do this entire greenhouse come late summer. This whole north wall, which faces the south, is going to be basil. So once these tomatoes run their course, this entire wall is going to be basil that's going to push us into winter. That's another experiment we're going to be doing. So check out their product. I'll definitely keep you guys in the loop with it as I learn more about it and see how it performs. While we're in here, I might as well just show you some stuff. We're full on production in this greenhouse now. We're picking maybe around 40 pounds a week, not a ton. I think overall, this was a good experiment. I'm glad I did it. It was a costly one, I will say. To heat this greenhouse, I've said this before, but to heat this greenhouse from November through March cost me $4,000. So that's a lot of money, and the production certainly exceeded the cost. So like I'm not as a loss on it. The production exceeded the cost for the energy and the labor, so it's okay, but it's a pretty like meager profit that we made on this. The one flaw we made here is that we put these tomatoes in the ground too early, and that's because we started them too early. So, you know, starting tomatoes, we started these tomatoes were started in plugs the first week of January. I think it was like January 2nd. They went in here in the ground somewhere in February. If you actually go back into my vlogs in February, you'll find the video if you want the exact date as to when these went in. But if I were to do it again, and we will do it again, we'll do it differently. We'll put them in 3 to 4 weeks later in the ground, because they'll actually catch up. Like, we might be in the same place with production if we would have just waited. There's sort of a sweet spot with all that, and I'm still figuring these things out, but this is why I make these videos, to help you guys and not make the same mistakes I do. Today what I mainly want to show you guys is how I call things a loss. You know, like the old saying goes, you know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. I'm going to show you guys today. I'm going to be terminating 2 beds at a plot across the highway. I'm going to head over there shortly. And I planted 2 beds of carrots there and had really, really poor germination. So our farm is so small that if I don't, and this is something I do every year, in fact I think even last year I made a video about it, but our farm is so small that I can't afford to wait for a crop if it's going to be 20%, 30% germination. It's not worth my time. I'm better off starting again and correcting the mistake. So what I'm going to be doing is bringing these shade cloths over there. I'm going to flame weed these carrot beds, basically killing them, and then I'm going to plant them again immediately, wet them down and cover them with shade cloth and hope that I get a better germination this time around. So I biked over here. Mark had the truck in rush hour. We had to go out in rush hour, so taking a little longer than I thought. Great excuse to bike. Haven't showed you guys my bike rig in a while, but this is it. So it's a Surly Big Dummy. So it's a long tail bike, and I've got it equipped with a Bionics SL350 HT XL, and that's been on there for a number of years. So it's an electric assist. The hub, the engine is on the back wheel, on the hub, and it's pretty necessary for getting around at a reasonable pace if you're pulling gear. Like to just, well, I used to do this without the electric assist. It was punishing, and I was younger then, so I could handle it. But the amount I work now on other things that are important, like family, I don't have time to be struggling on a bike every day. Anyways, the trailer is a flat deck steel, but it's got an aluminum top that's just basically like a, whatever you call that stuff, and it's got some butterfly screws in here, so I can pop that off really easily and make it a flat deck if I want to. But that's more or less the bike. I've got small BMX wheels on there, and it's a fairly straight ahead design. One thing we did when we used to pull, well, it's windy right now, when we used to pull dual trailers, I would have a secondary arm that would go in here, and then I could pull this trailer behind my main trailer. These are the two beds, this carrot bed and this carrot bed. I'm just gonna be really in and out here. I'm gonna flame weed them, which sucks to do, but it's what's needed on my size of my land base. I can't really afford to not have beds in production because they generate so much revenue, and our farm is small, so I don't have a lot of other options to plant. So this is the situation where it's just, you call it a loss, reset, move on, next. All right, I'm out of here. I'm all done. Let's hope this works. We'll check back in 9 days to see how well these germinated. Before I go, I'm just going to double check my timers, just run through them real quick and just make sure they're working. And I might increase the time on them a little bit just because we're getting windy at night and it's sunny. And that is a recipe for loss of moisture in the soil. So I'm gonna play around with that a bit, and I'll see you guys later.